All right, welcome back. So if you're tuning in today, you're tuning in to hear about a old lens that I picked up while I was in Osaka, the Fuji 18 millimeter f2. Released, it actually did not receive a lot of great reviews. There were a couple of reasons for that, but I will tell you later on when it became used, it never really got any better until, like I would say here recently, I think people are starting to get it. But needless to say, when I first looked at this lens, probably about 3 years ago, no, maybe 2 years ago, I'd had the Fuji 27 millimeter WR XF, and I didn't like it. It was my only Fuji pancake lens, and I was like, this thing sucks. The element moves, the autofocus is slow. Didn't really like the actual focal length either, so I got rid of that lens. Actually, I got rid of that lens, replaced it with the TT Artisan 27 millimeter. I had to order 2 copies of those because the first copy was awful. But needless to say, the second one was better, and I actually liked the TT Artisan more than that Fuji. And the Fuji cost a lot more. So that lens, when I purchased it, it was about $499 before tax. This lens, when it was new, was $599, so it was more expensive new. But on the used market, back when I was looking at it, when it wasn't as popular, I think it was probably I could get one for like $200. And like I said, people were just ripping it a new one. Well, evidently something changed because now it's a little bit more popular, and I've seen them go anywhere from, I want to say, $330 all the way up until like 400 and something dollars right now, which is kind of good, you know. But here's the deal. So when I started looking into it, and even when I first purchased it, what I figured out is you kind of got to play with the settings, because if you set your expectations, I'm gonna say set them low, but don't expect it to perform like newer lenses, right? Because the motor, everything in it's an old lens. Um, if you change the settings in your camera to match the fact that it's an older lens, you'll be fine. I didn't know this at first. I bought it in the store, and by the way, when I bought it, I went to Kitamura, and um, as you can see, I'm gonna move out of the way. It's in really good condition. Like everything's clean, no no fungus. There's a couple of like little nicks on the hood. It came with all the books. It came with the box. Um, and it was kind of funny because there was a well-used one there that I was actually looking at first, and it was like maybe $15 less. So I bought this one, and this one was actually not even rated like the highest rating. It was probably like rated good, I think. But when I started looking at it, I'm like, man, this thing actually looks wonderful. Well, I threw it on my camera in the store. Actually, I think I had the XE3 at the time. I hadn't changed any of the settings. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing the focusing, and I was like, man, this is really not that good. Like, oh Lord, this is kind of starting to remind me of that 27 millimeter. And I decided, because I asked them, I said, well, what is the return policy? I believe they said that I could bring it back if I didn't like it. It was kind of funny because I'm talking to a person there whose English is probably about as good as my Japanese, which is not good. Now, granted, they have other people there that are English speaking. It's just they were super busy, and that was the person that I got. But I think we were on the same page about returning it if I can't necessarily make it work, and it just totally sucks. Needless to say, when I actually got it back to the hotel I was staying in that evening, I played around with the settings. And one of the things, if you have not done this, if you do this one thing, and I really don't know if you would need to do it if you had like an older Fuji, meaning a camera like the X Pro 1, which actually was released the same time this lens was, you may not have to do this. It may not be an issue. But if you have a newer camera, and I mean even like the XE3, which is not the newest camera, change the pre-autofocus settings. So basically turn your pre-autofocus off. If you do that, this becomes a different lens. I did it on the XE3. I did it on my XT3. I use this lens more on the XE5, which is the newest camera that Fuji makes, and it performs perfectly. When I go out and I shoot, autofocus single is what I use. But you know what? I've used autofocus continuous. But the biggest thing is pre-autofocus needs to be turned off. The other part of that is don't use it for video. Unless you're just going to manual focus, do not use it for video. Okay, now with all that out of the way, you got it set up. What I can tell you about this lens that's special is the character. It's kind of crazy because at first I was putting, I think, Pro Mist filters in front of it, just thinking, oh, it needs that. I was like, okay, because I was shooting a lot at night. I just go out, walk around in the city or whatever, a lot of lights, I like a lot of bloom. I was like, this is cool. And then I stopped shooting with the darn filter. Don't get me wrong, I still use it some, but when you look at some of the images that you actually get, and I'll put those up as I talk, from this lens, I think that they have a just a neat, like a special look. And it's really weird because I wasn't expecting that. And just for the look alone, I frankly would pay the $300 or $400 that they're asking for it because I actually enjoy it that much. In addition to that, the other thing that I absolutely adore about this lens, probably more so than the lens I'm shooting with, which is the 16 millimeter 2.8 WR, is that 18 millimeter focal length is perfect to me. 27, 28, whatever it is equivalent. Walking around with that is perfect. And I love the 16 millimeter. Like I just think for me, when I first found that for shooting straight, I was like, yeah, this is magical. Like this is what I want. And it's kind of funny because the way I got to 16 was I actually used the kit lens at 18, started decided, hey, I want to get a lens that's a little bit wider and smaller. This was the lens that I purchased. In hindsight, I really wish I had gave this lens a chance because I like it. Now, I still need to have both of these lenses. And the main reason is because I like shooting some things at 16, but with video, like for instance, right now, to me, this is the best lens to use for video. I just wouldn't use this for video. I've tried and just playing around with it. I just don't think it's meant for that. But yeah, man, this is a really, really good lens. Like I said, it looks wonderful. It has its own kind of unique look. It's not going to be the fastest lens, but at a 2, it's fast enough. If they ever update it, I probably won't even buy it because I actually like the character of this lens. I do have another pancake that's coming, and it's actually the pancake that comes with the XE5. I keep pointing at it because that's what I'm filming with, and that's the 23 millimeter. I have had the 23 millimeter, the other one, the F2. Once again, wasn't a huge fan of it. That one to me was just a little bit too big for what it was because it's actually bigger than the 16. And then the focal length wasn't my favorite. So I'm curious to see how I like the 23. I do know that the 23, granted, is wider than the 27, and I could get away with the 27 on the TT Artisan. So I think I'll be okay with the 23. So we'll see. But I just got a pretty good deal on a used copy, so I'm just waiting for that to come in. But if you got any questions about this lens, like I said, it is a great lens. I still have Pro Mist filters and stuff that I use. I have CPLs and NDs and stuff like that, but I really don't use them that much anymore ever since I stopped or decided not to use them and just like the character of the lens. I think it's great. When I got mine, I ended up buying it for, I think the yen USD it was right around $330. So it was cheaper still than what I would have paid for in the States because that was $330 without tax. So yeah, here, you're paying that and you're getting like a good copy possibly. And you still got to pay tax on it. So it's still less, but a great lens, man. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about it. The build quality is, I would say, typical Fuji. It's all metal. It doesn't feel as solid as some of the other Fuji lenses. Like I actually think that the kit, I think it was the 18 millimeter to 50 millimeter 2.8 lens, 2.8 to whatever it closes down to. But I think that feels a little more solid in hand than this. I mean, this, you can hear some stuff moving in there. The autofocus does move, the lens element moves, but it still feels pretty solid, and it looks great. So I highly recommend it. If you got any questions, feel free, leave them down below. Click like, subscribe, and Agent Fit signing out.